Hello Year 7, it's Miss Blundell here, and I'm going to be doing your 3D lesson today. Now the equipment that you're going to need is you're going to need your fish from last lesson, the cardboard fish. If you didn't do the lesson last week, you're going to have to go back and do that lesson before you can carry on with this one. You need a little pot of water, a black fineliner pen, a paintbrush and a pair of scissors. Now if you haven't already, you or a parent need to go into school and pick up a pack of materials, okay? Everything you'll need to do your online lessons will be in that pack. So it's really important that you go and collect it so you participate in all of your lessons. Right, let's get started then. So last lesson, we drew our design on our cardboard fishes, okay? The reason that we did it in pencil last lesson was so that if you made a mistake when doing your design, you could easily rub it out, okay? Now, when you're happy with your design, today we're going to be going over it in black fineliner pen, okay? So we've done this in lesson before, using fineliner pen, but we're going to be using it on cardboard today, okay? So what I want you to do is I want you to very gently decide where you want to start. I'm going to start with the head, and I want you to just gently add your fineliner. Now remember, you need to take your time when doing this, because if you don't, you can't rub it out, and if you make a mistake, you won't be able to undo it, okay? So nice and gently, and it might just be worth having a look at what you drew last lesson, and maybe there's some bits you might want to change. So if you do, you can always pause the video, rub some bits of the pencil out, and redo them till you're happy with your design on your fish. Okay? So taking your time, and I've added all these little intricate details on mine just so it looks a little bit more realistic. There we go, and there's my fish's head so far. So I'm going to continue with this for the whole body. I like to move my fish rather than trying to move my hand. I'll move the fish around so it's easier for me to draw and I get more accurate lines. Okay, so as you can see there, I've done the detail on the head or the fins and the tail. So now I'm going to do the scales on the body. Now I'm going to take my time with this because obviously they're quite small and I'd like it to be quite intricate but even as I'm drawing, adding the pen to it. So now I've drawn the scales on the inside, the only thing we're going to do now is I'm just going to refine the outside between the body and the fins. Just draw a line like this. Like I said, rather than trying to move your wrist, move the fish around so you've got more control of the pen. And there we go. And there's the fine liner on your fish. Now, you've got a choice here. You can either leave your fish if you don't feel like you're strong enough to add water to it without adding too much water. You can add a little bit of water if you want to have a go but you're not too confident. And if you really want to challenge yourself, you can add quite a bit of water, but remember you have to add it with control. So I'm going to show you how to do it now. You need your pot of water and your paintbrush. Sorry. Dip your paintbrush into the water and then tap it off. Now you might think that you've tapped all your water off, but there'll be just enough water left in the bristles. You don't want too much because a big blob will come out of your paintbrush and you might ruin your fish, okay? And what we can do is we can just start to bleed. So I've still got a bit too much water, so I'm just going to dab it off more. You can just start to add a bit of water to your ink and it will start to bleed. Now, there's a reason why we're using fine liner rather than black pen. Yeah, so I've lost my fine liner then. So here's a fine liner and here's a black biro pen. This is what we usually use in school. Sometimes we use it for drawing and usually use this sort of pen for writing in school. Now, if I just do a quick squiggle of biro and then a quick squiggle of fine liner. Now, if I add water to biro, you'll see nothing happens, okay? Add as much water as you like, the ink won't bleed, okay? Whereas as with fine liner, you add water to it, it starts to bleed and you get this lovely colour ink, bluey coloured ink coming off it. And this can look really nice in some drawings, and we're going to do that on your cardboard. So what I might do is I think I'm just going to add it to the fin now. You can always add more, but you can't take it back once you add it. So every so often, just keep lifting your head and see how it's looking so far. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a go at adding a bit of water to a few scales, not all of them. Okay, so you can sort of reflect back. Now if you get little bits like this, don't worry, that's just an example to you of what happens if you add too much water. Can you see all your detail? I'll just hold it closer. You can see all your detail is sort of blended together. It's not the end of the world, doesn't matter too much, but if you just covered the whole of the cardboard in that water, it'd bleed too much and you'd lose quite a lot of your detail. Okay, then what you can do is you can look back at it. If you want to add some more, you can do. So that's all I want you to do for this lesson. I want you to keep that dry leave that to dry for me, and then we'll work into this a little bit next lesson, only for the first couple of minutes, and you will need a fine liner again. It isn't going to take the whole lesson, so we will have another activity to do. I'll tell you what you need for that lesson at the start of the video.